Good afternoon. There we go. Thank you for coming to this open forum today for our Director of Athletics and Recreation candidate. We have Margaret Voisin, and she goes by Peggy, so we'll go that way so that she knows who we're talking to when we speak with her. Peggy comes to us most recently from Saginaw, Michigan. And she has been a coach of, I don't know, about a dozen different types of sports. And been an athletic director and an assistant athletic director. She has experience as a faculty member. She has managed facilities. And she's kind of done the whole package, fundraising, all sorts of things that are on our list of things we would like an athletic director and director of recreation to do. So I am going to let Peggy, introduce herself, and then she will address the presentation topic that we had that asks her to talk about the mission of community colleges, the mission of our college, and then how athletics and recreation fit into that and how they support those mission elements. And then also to talk about her vision for LCCC athletics and recreation for the next 5 years. So Peggy, I will give it to you and turn my mic off.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
And as Judy said, I've kind of been around the block, but I also have great experiences and actually a lot of experience in different areas to bring to Laramie County Community College. And I'm real excited to be here and then share my visions and goals with you. When I looked at all the items that you wanted me to talk about, my first was my vision of a community college. And my vision is an integral balance between sport, life, and academic achievements. And I believe that athletics and academics complement one another, and they help develop a well-rounded young adult. It also promotes lifelong learning that enables students to see themselves as a part of a diverse and changing world. The athletic program is a vital part of the total education process. It supports the school mission by making positive contributions, fostering excellence, integrity, respect, diversity, and community service. An athletic program makes the community college complete. It services that part of the junior college that gives it an identity, the athletic teams for the community to follow and be supportive. And through my leadership abilities and as an educator, I am developing that all-round student. I have a holistic approach to education and athletics. I believe in communicating my objectives and goals to the staff with input from them to efficiently administer this program. I will look at the goals of the program and what has and hasn't been accomplished in that certain time frame. But then I want to look at what I want to do in the 5-year program. And I'm going to have the entire staff function as a total unit to accomplish this plan. And I think probably for that first year, it's a matter of evaluating the program, determine what the needs are, where it's at. Not having any prior experience here at the college, then I need to figure out those kinds of things. And I wanted to build a program, an athletic and recreation program that is consistently moving forward and retaining qualified staff. The vision of Laramie County Community College, when I looked at that, would be the athletic department will provide student athletes with an environment that encourages, supports, and promotes academic, athletic, and personal achievement. And this focus on the student athlete's total collegiate experience will result in Laramie County Community College being the institution of choice for its students, seeking a quality academic experience while participating in challenging and intercollegiate competition and recreation. And third, when I looked at the mission, Laramie County Community College Athletic Department is an integral part of the college's education mission, is committed to offering opportunities to experience academic and athletic excellence for our student athletes through academic integrity and leadership, athletic achievement, personal development, physical integrity, governance, outside support, quality support, and equity. For the recreation mission, the Laramie County Community College Recreation Program will direct, will coordinate, and develop community recreational programming appropriate for the facilities, including the intramural sports, to create engaged students, and to programs to engage the community, including but not limited to summer camps for the community and youth. The recreation program's primary purpose is improving quality educational and developmental activities available to the students of Laramie County Community College. How am I going to do this? The following is an athletic program goals reflecting components of the department, and when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking successes in meeting these goals over the next 5 years will position student athletes to realize their academic and athletic potential. And I have the goals organized with the first reflecting the college's primary emphasis, which is academic success for our students. And the goals 2 through 5 reflect critical components and critical operational components, which must be met, must be in place, and the final goal to reach is successful competition. Successfully realizing the implementation strategies identified under each of the 6 strategic goals will move the athletic department toward its vision and allow it to be successful in meeting its mission. As you see, goal number 1, academic success. I want to expand and strengthen the positive relationship between student athletes in the classroom and their successes as competitive athletes and responsive community members. This goal provides the basic function that links lifelong achievement goals of student athletes to the college's primary role of providing programs and activities that prepare students to be successful throughout all facets of their lives, such as maintaining department cumulative GPA at or above a 3-point, enhance athletic academic programming, enhance academic facilities, develop a student-athlete learning center for team study halls, collaborate with the learning and counseling centers to provide funding for an academic coordinator that would also be, I think, in that area. I actually have heard that we've had some type of person in that position, but a full-time person that would be doing that. Enhance technology, have laptops for athletes to use while they're traveling and in their study halls, and support and fund efforts to develop a computer lab for athletes. My goal number 2 is governance and structure. Establish consistent procedures that relate to all areas of staffing, compliance, Title IX, gender equity, and minority opportunities. Recruit, retain quality people. Fund positions consistent with those outlined in the NJC organization. Full-time coaches with paid assistant coaches, full-time athletic department fundraiser, such as an assistant athletic director for development, a strength and conditioning coach, equipment manager, assistant sports information director. Review and evaluate coaches' salaries. In the compliance area, establish procedures that relate to all processes related to student athletes certification. NJCA rules education for students and coaches. Define relationships with advisory committees with external funding groups and the individuals and the units within the college administration. Develop, distribute, and enforce a compliance handbook for coaching staff. Monthly education rules meetings for coaches. Develop a compliance committee, which would include members from athletics, registrar, admissions, financial aid, and faculty to assist in student athlete certification, initial eligibility, satisfactory progress, and scholarships. Title IX, gender equity and minority opportunities. Develop and implement a gender equity and minority opportunities plan. Develop and fund a plan to add athletic opportunities for females, such as women's basketball, possibly softball, golf. And also, develop a student athlete advisory committee, which I call SAC. This will empower the student athletes to have a voice and take ownership of their athletic program. Goal number 3 is facilities. Inventory the athletic and recreation facilities and develop the information required to preserve and enhance the functional and financial value of the sports facilities. And if needed, renovate and improve the academic office areas for athletics and recreation, develop student-athlete learning center to be utilized for study halls, team meeting rooms, renovate the coaches' administration offices, construct new areas to enhance practice capabilities of all sports teams, and particularly if you add teams, develop areas for team meetings, continue to improve the competition facilities. Goal number 4 is finances. Attain financial stability by maintaining and expanding existing revenue sources, identifying additional funding to support student-athlete scholarships, upgrading existing athletic facilities and sports venues, increasing existing operating and recruiting budget for all sports. And if you look at it, increase funding for athletic scholarships, but implement maybe a capital campaign for athletics. Implement endowed scholarship program. Continue to increase current revenue streams such as that Golden Eagles Club, corporate sponsors, donors, major gifts. Increase operational budget for all sports teams. Increase funding to allow basic equipment needs to be covered by operating budget rather than foundation funds. Increase recruiting budget for all sports teams. Funding for like recruiting cars. Funding to recruit students from target areas. Continue to work within the framework of the college financial planning structure and continue to be financially responsible by operating within annual budgets. Goal number 5 is marketing and reputation. Strengthen Laramie County Community College Athletic Department role as a front porch to the college in Southeast Wyoming by focusing on the integrity and image of the department to its internal and external constituencies. Maybe increase media and community support, target area youth groups for activities at games. Increase family events, promotions at home events. Cultivate relationships with local regional media. Promote success stories of student athletes. Collaborate with the college relations. Promote community service and fundraising activities by student athletes. Enhance alumni relations. Collaborate with Alumni Foundation Office. Develop and distribute sport-specific newsletters to connect with the alumni. And increase attendance at home events by having promotional events at contests. And that leads to the final goal, successful competition. Student athletes in each sport contend for an NJCAA regional and national champions postseason play. Graduate at rates above the Laramie County Community College graduation rate. Maintain status as a flagship school in the NJCAA, finish in the top 3 in the NJCAA sports regional competition on an annual basis. Enhance recruiting strategies. Focus activities on the most effective use of resources, such as targeting local students first and supplement as needed for out-of-region students. Obtain vehicles for athletic recruiting, increase coordination between admissions and athletics for student recruitment, increase all aspects of student diversity within athletics. Develop a tradition of regional and national success by qualifying teams for the NJCAA regional competition and national competition. Continue to promote an atmosphere of sportsmanship through a positive game environment plan. When I looked at recreation, I kind of went, okay, what kind of goals would I have? First one, I just simply said students. Establish a recreation program that attracts and retains students who are developed by their instructors at LCCC to achieve their maximum potential as people, leaders, and students. Facilities. Establish a recreation program with state-of-the-art facilities, offering the student a wide variety of activities that will combine activity and new technology and trends. Third, the staff. Establish a recreation program that attracts exceptional staff, administrators who model, teach, instill the college's core values in students and prepare them for life and leadership in a global society. Intramurals, fourth goal. Establish an intramural program that encompasses all students of various abilities, ages, to have a quality, positive experience. And the fifth goal is community. Establish a recreation program that is known for its excellent first-class facilities and hospitality. To provide opportunities for the local community to use the facility for youth, sports camps, clinics, family outings. Getting the local community and families on campus, using those facilities that it would be affordable for them. Offering a variety of fitness, wellness activities for the students and for the families. And just in conclusion, the athletic department, through its mission statements and goals, shall strive to support the mission of Laramie County Community College and support the educational objectives and academic progress of its student athletes. And further, the athletic department embraces and supports the NJCA principles for conduct and of intercollegiate athletics as described in the NJCA manual. The Laramie County Community College athletic and recreation departments, as that integral part of the college educational mission, is committed to offering opportunities to experience academic and athletic recreation excellence for our students and athletes. The LCC Athletic Recreation Department provides for the emotional, physical, and social well-being and development of the students and athletes. The individual growth and progress of the students, athletes, is nurtured by offering opportunities for success in the classroom, as well as the development of leadership, skills, and talents in the field of competition. Intercollegiate athletics and recreation enhance the college experience for both the participant and the observer. The LCC Athletic and Recreation Department strives to encourage unity within the Cheyenne community by providing a program of excellence, honor, and integrity. Thanks. Do you have any questions?
Hello? We do have questions here. Hi, Peggy. I introduced myself to you. I'm the Facilities and Events Manager, and we manage the master schedule here on campus. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, there's been almost 500 emails that have gone through my office about PE scheduling. We work with the community, we work with the athletic staff, with the PE staff, you know, all that good stuff. So there's a lot, and there's a lot going on already. Can you tell me, Judy said you've done facility management. And can you tell me, do you have any experience managing an academic facility that's shared with athletics, credit, non-credit classes, student activities, campus activities, community activities? Do you have any direct experience with that?
In my situations that I've had, it was basically the physical education recreation facility that I was dealing with. The other facilities were on the other side of campus. And even though I was involved in the academic side and also with the PE wellness part of it, I was kept abreast of what was happening. And I was always concerned about what can we do extra and what can we do for our students that would include our athletes getting the best possible instruction, but best possible tutors. And that's why I had mentioned maybe a computer lab, a team meeting rooms, an academic study hall room that's just theirs, so that they can get that one-on-one individual attention. So I haven't had, but that's part of my goals that I would like to see happen.
Okay, and I guess I was asking more about not athletes.
Yeah, and I think...
How do you balance the priorities?
Right, and I think when you even look at it, that athletes shouldn't be special compared to regular students, but also I think everyone as being a student, and number one is being a student, and academically have to be challenged in their classes and have to have that extra help, has to have a facility in an area that they can go to. So if you're an athlete and you go in that facility, doesn't matter, you're still a student. So I think I haven't had that opportunity to actually be involved in that aspect as related to the athletic part of it.
I have two more questions.
Oh, okay.
You mentioned a whole lot of things about state-of-the-art equipment and additional staffing, and we're in a budget cut time, and
we're also in a trying to reduce staffing cut. You know, how do you see yourself working within the parameters that we have right now?
Right, and that's one thing that I mentioned. I don't know all those incidental things, those details, but that's what I was looking at as a 5-year plan. So hopefully we'll progress to that. And it depends upon the budget, the money. And we're trying to come up with probably some extra funds to be able to do that. But that's a 5-year plan.
Okay. My last question is, our ag and equine programs are part of our athletics here at LCCC. And do you have experience with that? And how do you see those programs fitting in with round ball athletics?
Right. I have seen horses. I've been on a horse. But I haven't had that experience in the horse sport area. But it really doesn't matter to me, because what I do is I treat every sport as itself. So everyone will get the equal, fair treatment and allowances. So yeah, well, hopefully we can build that program so that it can build with the other programs too, because I've got a feeling that that's not where we want it yet. But it's a exciting time, because I don't know that much about it, to research it and to see if we can plan to do something different. And I know we have excellent facilities, as I've been told, so it's a matter of looking at that particular program, but treat it as a basketball program or a volleyball program, so that they have everything that they need to run a quality program.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm Sandy, I'm the assistant coordinator, assistant director of the South Central Physical Education. Hello, there I am. I'm Sandy, I'm the assistant director coordinator in the physical education exercise science department.
Mm-hmm.
The job description calls for you wearing many hats: AD, facilities manager, community involvement, those kinds of things. How do you see yourself balancing all those duties and responsibilities? What is your management style?
And I've done all of this, so it's something that's the job, and you make time for certain things, and you plan out your schedule. I'm an organizer, and I'm detailed oriented, and I like to be able to know what I'm doing now, what I'm going to do 2 months and 6 months and a year down, and then further from that. Being an athletic director, you deal with the athletic part of it, but also I take off that hat, put on the other one with physical education and fitness. So I've had that experience, and from ordering the textbooks to making sure the facilities are right. We had regional campuses that I had to be involved with and get adjunct instructors for those campuses for the PE wellness courses, and making sure that they have the right equipment items at their facility. Plus, I would think that when you look at any program, you have to work together with it. And you have to be able to have a schedule, and you have to be able to stay with that kind of schedule. As far as a balance of my time, it's one where I know that when I come in during the day, then I know what I have to do and what I have to do and when I have to do it. And that's not uncommon. And I know it's a busy, busy part of it. And the second part of your question was?
What is your management style?
Right. And I like to be able to say I have an open door policy where if there are concerns, or if you want to come in, drop by and have a chat one-on-one, I welcome that. I'm not one that is real strict, but I let them know what the boundaries are. And through, the phone calls, the emails, any memos and meetings that you have. But I think sometimes the best contact is the one-on-one contact that you can have. I also feel that as administrator, the buck stops with me. So if there are concerns, then I take the heat, or I take the good from that, and then pass on the good to that. So it's a matter of me going in and saying to my coaches and my recreation staff, whoever that might be, that we have to work as a unit. And we're here for this student first. And whatever it's going to take to get this to be a positive experience for them, we need to do. So we have to work together as a team. And to do that, we all have to be on the same page. And that's my job, to make sure that everyone is on the same page. And when things do not go right, then it falls back on me. I hope that
Since I still have the mic, I'm going to ask more questions. Then I'll
Go for
relinquish
it.
it to somebody else. What specific experience do you have with financial development, booster club, funding, those kinds of things?
Yeah, involved with any kind of external funding, you always have to raise funds for equipment, for scholarships, or whatever that my case may be. I've worked a lot with the Foundation's developmental office. Have had work with the booster clubs, where they're a separate entity, and going to them and presenting my case to ask for certain equipment items or certain monies to be able to develop a program. Going out and just into the community, looking at corporate sponsors or donors, and I want to develop alumni contacts. And that's something that I was, at the point that Kellogg was trying to develop alumni contacts, and that's something I think could possibly be done here. I also think that when you do get involved with that external funding, that you have to have a plan in place, as I mentioned. You have to have where you're going to spend the money, how you're going to spend the money, and what is needed at that time, and what then you can count on that you're going to plan and project in the future, the 5-year plan, what kinds of maybe capital gains, money. You're going to have to look at it down the road. And right now, with the economy and the budget it is, that's really tight. So you're going to have to try to see what's available, see what's here, and what resources you can tap here, and go ahead and start and get involved with that and see where it might lead. A lot of times when you talk with alumni, they like to contribute money, and if they do, then it's to a specific program, or it may be to scholarships. Well, that's great, and then they may say to their teammate they had, hey, we've got this available for us, want to contribute. Maybe the corporation will contribute half of that, but they contribute. I think bringing alumni on campus and having some events for them for athletics is a great idea. And so they can come back and see what the facilities looks like, what the program looks like, and we want to be building and moving the program forward, which means that it has to deal with probably money and budget.
Okay, and the last one. How would you specifically become involved in the community?
Well, I would live in the community, and I would want to talk to people. I would want to be a part of the group. I would want to talk with people that are here on campus and certain offices, and making sure that I get my face out there in the community, and that we're trying to build a program here, and we need your help. We need your attendance at our games. We need that kind of community aspect. And I think sometimes when you offer facilities and having families come and sports camps and get the youth on campus, you get the parents on campus, they get to see what's happening, and you can promote from there. So I think, it all relates back to that. And if we can get that going, then I think you'll see probably more things happening that are going to be good for the program. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Peggy. How are you?
Good.
I'm Cindy Henning. I'm the Exercise Science Program Coordinator. And basically, the building that our classes are held in is the same building that athletic practices are held in, that the community events are held in, that non-credit is held in, that intramurals are held in, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very busy place. And my question deals with, you had mentioned that getting youth programming. How would you propose youth programming occurring year-round in a building and facilities that are very heavily used?
Right, and I think you need to prioritize, and that means certain groups get certain times and certain whatever, and then you want to plug in then that time for that. And I've always said that one of the great resources for athletics and actually for the community is having sports camps, bringing in the youth. And I have had like a 5th and 6th grade girls basketball team coming in at halftime during like a men's game and participating in a little pickup game that they do. You can, it's creative as you can be to bring in the community for things. But you need to set a time schedule. You need to have opportunities available for them to bring in their families. Maybe it's some type of clinic that you would want to run that would be specifically for the youth. Sometimes, they've done this at Delta where they've had birthday parties because they have a swimming pool and they have that kind of thing, and I'm sure you're familiar with that. So getting that out, that there is that possibility and time frame that we can use, but we need to set that aside too. We need to have the community come and bring their families. And just to give you an example, what I've done in the past is we've had a National Girls and Women's Sports Day, which is that first weekend in February, and it's passed already, but that's a nationwide celebration. And what they've done is having probably, it could be like 1st or 2nd graders, starting out with them, or it could be a little older, going all the way through to high school age would come in, and each of the teams would have a little presentation that they would run them through some drills and some skills and that kind of a thing. And the athletes would run this, so they get to see and have a role model there, and we would be able to present to them why they have this opportunity because of Title IX and what we see as gender equity and everything else, and have some refreshments or something like that. But have that and have a clinic of some sort on that particular day and celebrating that. And in volleyball, we've done the Dig for Cure, where the teams would have their pink shirts and you would have an opportunity to raise money there for that. So I think there are different ideas that you can bring in community and bring in people that way. But a lot of times if you bring in the youth, you bring in those kids, the parents have to bring them so that they're on campus. You want to try to engage them that way. And they see the facilities and the kids see it, they go through school, they want to come here and go to college and be participating and being involved more that way. So I think it has to start someplace, and you can evolve from that. Mm-hmm.
This is a question about the academic side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember Archie's question from the other day, but how do you go about ensuring that? Like you had mentioned department goal of a 3.0 GPA. So how do you envision getting that across to the coaches and the student athletes? And also, the flip side of that, letting the rest of the campus know about what the expectations are for the athletes and how it's all, I'm probably not phrasing this question very well, but how it's all interrelated and connected, that while yes, they're athletes, they're also student athletes, and it's the student that's the most important part. So how do you see building that bridge between the athletics and academics, and helping get that word out to the faculty and to the college as a whole about what your expectations are and what our athletic program is going to look like?
Right, and I think that learning center and availability of tutors and counselors, study halls, and monitoring their academic progress, which involve like the registrar. It can involve our coaches paying attention to what's happening and what's going on. I think, with the standards of the NJCA, 175 or 2 point, it's too low. And from what I've heard from the coaches, that we're exceeding, that, which is great. We want to continue doing that. Being on the other side of it, I've been on committees that is the academic side and have input from that. And so they associate a face and a name with academics. Also, we've done, we did this big, like a bulletin board, and it was where we had posted the awards for that year. And I'm a big one on giving awards out for accomplishments that are above and beyond. But we had an academic award for highest GPA for male and female. Okay? We had not just a male and female athlete, but that was primarily what we wanted to do. The most improved academic athlete that we had, Maybe they struggled in that first semester, but boom, all of a sudden got this. So we have that. When I have my sports awards banquet and I'm having, the community involved, the parents, the athletes are there, the coaches, and the coaches will award their awards. And I'm usually the first one, and I'm presenting, and my first thing is talking about academics. And I had my vice president come up to me afterwards and said, I didn't realize that all the academic situations that come up that you deal with in your department, and that you are really stressing the academic part. It wasn't, athletics probably took a back seat at an athletic awards banquet, because we're talking about that part of it as academics as number one. They have to pass. They have to be eligible to be in a part of athletics, and if they don't, they're not. And they could lose their scholarship. But academics is first so that they graduate. Our key thing is that we want to graduate our student athletes so they can go on to a four-year college if they want to, get a bachelor's, get a master's. And then there are those that get that 2-year degree, stay right here in the local community, and contribute that way. And they're going to bring their kids back here because of that. So academics is one aspect that is first. It's always been a priority for me. And I will always say to my athletes, and I have a student-athlete meeting in the fall, and the first thing is, okay, to be eligible is this, this, and this, but you need to go to class. You need to do the work. It's your career. You're going to have to get the best that you can out of this. But there are certain rules and regulations that they have to follow, and they have to realize that. So it's a learning process for them. But I believe that academics will always be said to them one way or the other. And I think that we have to look at them as students first, always, and then an athlete. And that goes hand in hand. With me, I want them to graduate. That's my goal. And that should be their goal. Mm-hmm.
Hi, Peggy. Why were you drawn to LCCC or Cheyenne in our community?
I didn't quite hear all that.
Why were you drawn to LCCC or Cheyenne in our community?
Well, I've been in a lot of different states, and every time I go and further my career into a new job, then it's one where I take advantage of the area, and I want to live in the community. And I think you have a lot to offer from what I can see and what I've researched. And I also look at it, there are opportunities available, I think, within the community that we can tap. And I think that with a full-time athletic director, you can probably do that. But I also believe that when you're looking at an athletic director position, it is involved. You have to be able to be organized enough to know your schedule, and be organized enough to be able to go out in the community, be a part of that, given yourself and given what you feel is right for you and for the program. And I think just the fact that I haven't ever lived this far west, and it's an experience that I like to have. I'm interested in being an athletic director at a college level, and with the experiences I've had, I know that that's kind of where my niche is. And I also look at full-time position. It's great, and that attracted me, besides the area. And if you look at the economy, in Michigan, a lot of people are just leaving the state of Michigan right now. So we have to look at other opportunities available. And so you kind of look at those opportunities and kind of see what is the best fit for you. Because I want the best fit for me, but for you also. You're looking at me, but I'm looking at you, and I'm taking in everything today. And I'm going to have to make a decision myself about what I've seen today. And so I think, being a part of the community is just, it would be wonderful.
I like the fact that you're talking a lot about academics, because obviously that's very important to us. And it's a proven fact that student athletes nationwide get higher GPAs than the regular student population for a variety of reasons, but that's not just an LCCC thing, although it's true here as well. But how would you defend the athletic department when comments are made, such as last July at a board meeting, when the comment was made that student athlete success here at LCCC is student athletes are not evaluated in the same way, therefore our GPA that we attained last year was basically not legit. It was, we somehow put athletes in different classes, and therefore they are not evaluated the same. How would you defend the athletic department against comments like that?
Well, first of all, I would go back to saying they're students first. My athletes are always students, and they have to take the same courses other students to get their degree. So it's not all special courses. And I would want to research a little bit more why they feel that way. What are the facts? You know, give me some instances, give me some more information so that I can go and say, no, this is what we're doing. This is what we're accomplishing. These are athletes, but they're students first. And we really, in our department, have to keep track, because of eligibility-wise, have to keep them on task, on hand. And I've always felt, and through my coaching career, that athletes usually get their best grades during their season because they have to be organized, they have to be disciplined, they have to be able to complete the work and go to class so they're eligible to play. And sometimes then they're not as good the second semester or whatever their sport is. So you have to keep on them, because if they want to play the next year, they got to have that GPA. But they're in regular classes as everyone else. They're going through their programs. They have tough classes. They have those classes that are within their major area that are exciting for them. They have those GE ones that they have to take that aren't quite as exciting, but they're just like any other student and treated as such.
Why do you think that perception is out there, that student athletes are, what's our return on investment? Why do we have them? What's your philosophy on that? What do you?
Well, I think if you look at what my goal, one of my goals is the fact that the athletics gives you an identity. Whether it's good or whether it's bad, it gives you an identity. And the success that you have in your athletic department will give that identity to the college. And I believe that when I am recruiting an athlete, I'm looking at the academic part of it so that they know that we have the program and that they're going to be graduating, and along with it, they're playing the athletics, and that they can also achieve high athletic areas, such as having the opportunity to go to regionals and win regionals, going to a national championship. I've been there. I've done it as a coach. And it's the best experience that you can have. It's a very good learning experience. And from looking at day one, when you started as a team, going all the way up through, and all the things, the peaks and the valleys that you've had to accomplish this high goal is tremendous, and it's a great feeling. And I think, you need to present that to them, that with a person who chooses to go into athletics is probably very similar to somebody who chooses to go into, nursing, that wants to aspire to be a doctor maybe later on. Well, that's great. That's what they want to do. It's the same thing in athletics. And we want to be able to promote the program enough that we have highly skilled athletes, but great students.
Sorry, I guess I did have one more. How do you feel about inheriting a staff?
And that's true of any place that you go from one to another position. And I really don't look at it as being anything that's traumatic for me, because what I want to do is I want to get to know the staff, and I'll get to know them, pretty fast, pretty well. And I think an established staff, sometimes you have to look at how long they've been here. And I like to, if I bring in new staff, like to mentor them up with an older staff member that's been around and knows the system, so that they're not always in complete dark. And that there are questions they may not ask me, but would ask a mentor on that. But I think also the fact that since they've been around, they also sometimes get slack in certain things. So you have to keep them going. You have to say, okay, I know it, nobody likes change, but we need to change this for the better. And I'm not afraid to say that and do that. So it's a matter of getting to know my staff, seeing what they're like, and they get to know me and what I want to accomplish, how I go about my daily business, and what I feel that they need to do throughout their coaching and to recruit student athletes to come into the college. So I think, if we're all on the same page, then we're going to succeed.
Hi, my name's Karen. I work over the residence hall, and I have a couple questions for you. One is, how do you feel about recruiting our athletes just from our region, the Rocky Mountain region, instead of outreaching to faraway places, or like Florida or whatever.
Right, and I've had both, and I look at recruiting, we want to target the community, the local community first, but that's sometimes you're not going to get enough of the highly skilled athletes, so you have to go out of region. And you look at it, you have a few states that you have bordering you so that you can go and do that and bring in some quality student athletes. But I think, ultimately you want the best possible candidate to come in, best possible athlete that you can. And I think we have to have the right program for them academically. And I always picture, when I bring in recruits, I would always have them picture themselves being on campus, reacting and interacting with people there, seeing if this is a comfortable place for them, and we have the academics for them, and they know they can get the degree, and they can go on to maybe a four-year institution and those kinds of things. So they really need to check it out. But if they do that, and they feel comfortable with that, then sure, then I'm going to pursue that, whether they're targeted local or they're out of region. And I think that's necessary to do that. But if it's not, then they shouldn't be here.
Then my other question is, say for instance we have our fall games and such with soccer, and a student comes here and then they play for fall, but then they leave for spring. How do you feel about that?
Right, and I would want to know why. Why did they leave? Did they not like it here? Did they have not a good experience academically? What's the reason? I think you need to have a one-on-one talk with that, and because a lot of times the coaches can feel their athletes and feel that there's a possible problem there. And that's where I'd like to know as many athletes as I can and get to know them and kind of look at them and say, okay, I think she's in the right track and those kinds of things. So I think, ultimately, you need to make sure that their goal is to graduate and get a degree. And if they're here for the wrong reasons, then they shouldn't have been here to begin with.
Last call for questions. Anyone? Well, thank you very much, Peggy. We have enjoyed this afternoon, and I guess they're out of tune with us now too. So, but thank you so much, and we're not done with you today. But this meeting has ended, and she's around here. We'll take her off mic, and if people want to talk further, please feel welcome to. Otherwise, we'll get her on a tour here pretty soon. So, thank you all for coming, and. Please, those sheets that you have, it says turn it in by 5 o'clock. If you don't get it in by 5 o'clock and you wish to really think about it, that's fine too. I'll take them whenever you're finished with them.